Oh, good, very good. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Community Dharma Sharing Series under the Bhumisparsha organization. Thank you for being here. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Brenda Collins, and we have Kaylin Nelson. We're the facilitators here. So this evening, the theme is forgiveness, and our format is similar. We'll do quotes or poems, and then we'll have a short guided meditation, and then we'll have a Dharma talk, and then we'll open it up for discussion, and we'll close with a dedication of merit on forgiveness. So, thank you, and again, welcome. So I'll start us out with a uh, Buddhist quote on forgiveness. Forgiveness is a gift to yourself. It frees you from the past experiences, and past relationships. It allows you to live in the present time. When you forgive yourself and forgive others, you are indeed free. So now, turn it over to Karen. Thank you, Karen. Hello.
So thank you, Miss Brenda. It might be good to mute your mic for the sound. Okay. Thank you. You did. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I just wanted to let you know we use the chat. That's the one way we can hear from you during the session. So we hope that you'll feel comfortable to use the chat and share your thoughts as we go. And okay, so we're going to start with some meditation and some guided meditation around the topic of forgiveness. So if you could find a physical situation that feels supportive for yourself, for some practice, for some inward looking, for some relaxation and alertness, that would be great. And to let yourself just arrive in this moment in your body. And if it's possible to let your attention settle on some aspect of your breath that feels right. Be the sensation of the air at your nostrils or the movement of the breath in your chest or your belly. And just letting yourself settle all the more into where you are right now. Maybe sensing whatever is supporting your body in the position that you're in, where you're touching parts of your environment that are supporting you, supporting the weight of your body. And also perhaps sensing into the environment around you, the room that you're in, or if you're outside or in a car, just the space that you're in, that your body is in, or maybe some sense of how far the walls are from your body. Whether your eyes are open or closed doesn't matter. Though if you're comfortable letting your eyes closed, this can be a nice break from the screen. And sensing the light on your eyelids, or the lack of light, whatever your space and time is. And then also noticing perhaps sounds in your environment, just the sounds that are living around you. You can change your eyes at any time, or change your position, or anything you need. Just settling. Letting your attention come into your heart center. So the center of your body, around the level of your heart. And just connecting there with your attention. And then if you feel comfortable with this, to kind of imagine your circle of care, or your circle of mentors or refuges, the Buddha, the Dharma, Sangha. You just feel in the space around you a kind of sense of loving support for your journey and for your practice this evening. And whether it's a visualization or just a simply a knowing that this energy is also here supporting your life. You just let yourself kind of receive that, show up for it, acknowledge it. And if it feels right to you, perhaps you could let a kind of light, like, or a kind of gathering of this energy just sort of appear on the top of your head. Maybe it's a light or a crystal sort of look, or a ball of light, or a thought of light, a Buddha, um, a healer. And to just let some light melt down into your body. Maybe it's connected to your breath or not. Coming down into your heart, coming all the way down through, or whatever position you're in, filling your whole body, almost like you're taking an internal shower, just letting it kind of pour through. It's almost like this light of um, Buddha nature, or our basic goodness, or love, or compassion. And maybe even the light of forgiveness. So just kind of bathing in this light, or in these thoughts, or in this sense, whatever it is for you, in your breath, in your presence. And I wonder if it's possible just to say the words to yourself. I forgive you. And just reading or sensing into what happens in your body and in your experience when you say those words to yourself. I forgive you. Maybe there's a letting go that happens, of something you may or may not even be aware of that is wanting to be forgiven. And when you're ready, you can just let this go and rest in your open awareness meditation. And you can also return to it, to that practice of just uttering to yourself, I forgive you, and see what comes. But we'll do this for a few minutes and then check in again. So I wonder if we could move into a little phase of working with little sufferings that we have in our lives, or little resentments, or things on our mind, things on our plate, whatever, that are kind of bothering us or disturbing. To kind of practice bringing something to mind for a couple of minutes. So maybe we could just take a moment and see if we could come up with a something. And this practice of I forgive you, talking to ourselves. So maybe I have something that is irritated at another person. This practice that I'm suggesting is to keep the focus on ourselves. So I could say, I forgive you. I'm talking to myself, so I forgive me, but I say you internally. I forgive you for being irritated at that other person. I forgive you for that, for being irritated. Or forgive me. Whatever, however you like to talk to yourself. Also, it's sometimes nice to be gentle, depending on it. I forgive you for getting that parking ticket, darling. And we can also bring them into sensations in our bodies, or little pieces of irritations, or even resentments that we have. They could even have to do with other people. But for me, the first step has so much to do with kind of forgiving myself for having a human emotion. That might include being angry at somebody. You know, there's this sort of double whammy, how we can be angry at ourselves for being angry or not being perfect. Or so this self-forgiveness is, I think, also points in the direction of a kind of acceptance of what is. being willing to be with what is happening, creating a space around it, a loving space. Because forgiveness feels like an act of love, feels very connected to loving kindness, unconditional love. Let's just sit with any of that and also just letting everything go now and again, to just be with open awareness and just see what comes for you in your practice. You can let this energy of forgiveness, this light that we started with, continue to fill your whole body. Radiating and filling your whole body. So that it's beginning to kind of come out through the pores of your skin, even. Just a little bit around you, around the space around you. Maybe a sense of it in your heart center. And sensing and remembering your circle of care, your mentors, your refugees. And letting this light in your own body kind of mingle with the care that comes also from your sources of refuge. And when you're ready, just letting go of any images, just let your mind relax for a few moments in open awareness. Not pushing anything away or making anything happen. And as we begin to come back and finish our meditation, Maybe just sensing one situation outside of yourself, some person or situation that could really use some good energy right now. And maybe returning to that light in your heart or that feeling of love and forgiveness to just send that, send some of that, send all of it. There's an endless supply. Send it to each other of us who are in this shared space and time right now. Even as you're sending it, feeling your own body right here in your own space. We'll finish with 3 bells. Thank you for your practice. And pass to
And thank you so much for that beautiful meditation. I could stay in it longer, much longer. So thank you for that. Um, our Buddhist teachings tells us that forgiveness is an emotional connection between people, making life peaceful, full of love and compassion, as well as kindness. Uh, when we're in the process of forgiveness, we allow ourselves to reflect on ourselves and have to have a more positive life and a positive or right view. When we do not forgive, we suffer. However, in that suffering comes wisdom. if we can open up to experiencing the suffering, we can find wisdom in that suffering, which brings peace, gives us peace. So I'd like for us to think about, and you can respond in the chat box. Is there anyone in your life or in the situation that you have found yourself not being able to forgive? And have you thought about why you are not able to forgive that situation, that person? Because again, forgiving others, we're actually forgiving ourselves. So we'd like to hear from you. Again, is there anyone, any person or situation in your life where you cannot forgive? And then do you feel blocked by that? I know it's a loaded question. Okay, okay. Well, there are so many. Okay. And have you thought about why you are not able to forgive this person or situation or whatever it is? So unfamiliar. Okay. Okay. Very good. Hmm. Okay. Do you feel stuck by that? Do you suffer because of that? Hmm. Hmm. And seriously, I can't seem to forgive people or situations that harm help them. Okay, great, very good, Sarah. Okay. So, can you apply this practice to that connection that you have with people who harm helpless animals? Can you try and forgive them? And first of all, forgive yourself for that, for not being able to forgive. Now I ask you, can you try to forgive these people who harm helpless animals? And does it make you feel unhappy? Or do you feel any type of suffering? I remember when I first divorced, I was angry with my ex-husband. Okay, I can't try. Okay, 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 okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that honesty. And again, forgive yourself for not being able to forgive. And that itself will open up your heart. But I remember when I was so angry with my um, ex-husband, and I just couldn't forgive him. And so I remember after uh, a doctor, I remember going home and I had this dream where I released something, and it was amazing because immediately thereafter, he and I was able to communicate, and we've been communicating ever since. And I felt good. I felt good, and I realized that I was suffering because I was angry with him. I did tell him I forgive him face to face, but I told him in prayer and in meditation. But again, the wisdom of that was I realized that I was suffering as a result of that. I couldn't let go. I wasn't letting go. Uh, but after that, I did. I was I felt lighter, much lighter, and much more loving of him, even unconditional love. So again, I ask people, is there anyone or situation where you feel you cannot forgive? And look at why you cannot forgive. Thank you, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi, Karen.
Um, I was just thinking about like Sarah's example, like that part where you said it's like you don't know the person doing the harm, so it's like abstracted. Yeah, and I've been looking into a little bit about forgiveness, and one of the things that keeps coming up is like people saying, but forgiveness does not mean condoning the act that the person is doing or the people are doing. Um, and yeah, and this piece that Miss Brenda you're bringing with how it is really about somehow connected to one's own suffering around it, about like staying closed-hearted in it. Like how forgiveness is, you know, even though you don't agree with the thing somebody's doing or has done, to find a place in oneself that is a starting place, maybe by forgiving the my inability, like you said, your inability to forgive. But like I have so many, like I was the one who wrote forgiveness feels so unfamiliar, and there's so many because they're happening all day long for me. And to find the forgiveness for myself, that the parts of myself that don't have the capacity to even be gentle or kind to myself. You know, it's just the suffering. I guess suffering is the big signal the levels, all the different kinds of suffering that I might go through in a day,
Mm-hmm.
personally. And I feel like forgiving others feels like very advanced. But I mean, you know, like, and then if I do have a personal relationship with somebody, it's much, I feel like what maybe I relate to what you're saying, Sarah, that it's like there's some juice there that I can make it more, I can feel that connection more. But anyway, I don't know, just adding more to the same.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's very valuable. Well, like Sarah, for example, she can't seem. It seems to be difficult for her to forgive people who harm helpless animals. There is a sense of compassion right in that. There is compassion in there. So think about that. There is deep compassion in there. Um, so that is the wisdom of that not being able to forgive. That is the wisdom, right? And when you can look at that, your heart opens up, and you can sense that. So that is again, that is compassion. She's got compassion for it, and that is great wisdom. So thank you, Sarah, for that again. Yeah. Yeah. And don't put too much energy in trying. You've already acknowledged that it's difficult. So let that go. Because the more you try, the more difficult it's going to be. You're going to end up starting to hate. It's going to get more negative. Uh, I hate that word, but you'll find yourself disliking even more, or not able to forgive. So just let it go. You acknowledge the fact you can't forgive for this reason. There's great compassion in that. So now let it go. It will happen organically. Does that make sense, Sarah? Hmm. Yeah. So I'd like to hear more from more. Okay. Uh huh. And let go. Yes. Let go. Yes. That is a part of this forgiveness process is letting go. Uh, you acknowledge it, you become tolerant, and then you let go. Yeah. We'd like to hear some more from some more people. And maybe it's something about you that it may not be another person, another situation. It could just be about you, uh, not being able to forgive yourself for something. That's something to think about. Is there anyone out there who is experiencing that in any way? Yes, I think it's all of us, isn't it? All of us. Yeah, that's a common human um, symptom. Yeah, particularly when the harm has been more emotional than anything else, and that's what we really find it difficult to do. Yeah, yeah, hmm Yeah, and I believe his teachings teach us that forgiveness is critical, a critical step in achieving a peaceful state. So, would anyone else like to share their experiences? I have no quote. How do I get this? I think it's right here.
Yeah, if you'd like to come onto the screen and talk, you can also do that if
Wow.
writing isn't happening for you.
Yeah. And something else, to understand everything is to forgive everything. Now that's a practice. That's a very deep practice. One which I have not. I can't say that I'm fully. Um, I fully practice that. Do it that I don't. But I know that again, to understand everything is to forgive everything. And when we don't forgive, then we have judgment and we create the storyline. And the storyline is continued. It causes physical health, physical issues, the body as well as emotional issues. It can also affect the practice too. Um, yeah, it can affect everything. But the bottom line is acknowledging it and then letting go. Any more comments from you, Karen?
Yeah, I was just gonna say like the the little practice of just saying I forgive you to myself
Mm-hmm.
um, is a kind of acknowledgement of something that's going on like that. But it's got such a loving um, gesture around it, like just forming those words and that thought of forgiveness around, it could be something like I ate too much food, or
Mm-hmm.
I watched too many movies. You know what I mean? Like just something I feel a little bit like not quite right about, and then to just be like, I forgive you, or I didn't walk enough today, or things that I should do for myself, or that I put pressure on myself to do as a way of, it's supposed to probably be for self care, but I'm actually beating myself up over it, like that sort of thing, that sort of weird conundrum you can get into easily. I can to start with those. It does feel like an acknowledgement and a letting go, but the acknowledgement, instead of just like it being like, oh, I see what I'm doing,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
it's wrapped in this like love
That's
that
right.
feels very kind. There's a kindness to it that I feel helps me to even extend it out to others
Mm-hmm.
in a organic, that word organic way.
Yeah,
A little bit,
that was a
please.
powerful meditation that
Mm.
you shared. Yeah, yeah. And this again, like you, just to say that I forgive myself and that is self care. And it seems like everything's involved in this process. Um, and it is because you eliminate suffering to a degree and you create a peaceful mind, uh, a balanced mind. So, yeah, yeah, I think it is cradled in love. Mm-hmm. So, Saber, don't beat yourself up. I understand. I have little animals. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. As a matter of fact, that's a meditation that we probably want to try again sometimes. Yeah. Um, and just sit with that, the feeling of saying to oneself, I forgive myself.
Maybe we could take another 10 minutes with that right
I
now.
would love that. I would really
Okay,
do that.
let's do that.
And then I'll do a definition. I think it's great.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so just go ahead, folks, and find a position that feels comfortable, and we'll just drop back into that space of sensing breathing, sensing the ground, the light, the sound. You're bringing your circle of care, your sense of the beings and mentors, the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all any beings that offer you inspiration for spiritual practice, support you in your life that way. Any energy that helps you. And letting some of that energy accumulate maybe on the crown of your head. And let it begin to come through your body, entering into your body as you breathe. And breathe into your heart center. And a sense of the earth under you, this planet, this generous support for our lives. And you're saying to yourself, I forgive you. Letting this light wash down through your body, or wash through your body. Filling your body. I forgive you. maybe even conjuring some of those more difficult situations to forgive, something within yourself or something with another person, just maybe, or a group of people or a whole situation. And just working with a specific one. And just noticing what is it that keeps you from being able to forgive or to understand it or acknowledge. Or how far, maybe the way to think of it is, how far can your forgiveness go? Maybe it just touches the intention to grow forgiveness towards that situation. And again, bringing it back to something simple in yourself and just, I forgive you. And let it go. And just rest your mind.
appreciate us doing it again. Hopefully other people appreciate it as well. So we'll go ahead and close, and I'll do a dedication of merit. Are there any final questions or ideas or thoughts before we close? And I do encourage you to provide us with feedback. So you can send it on, I think it's info@bhumisparsha.org. .org. We really appreciate any feedback that you provide. So this is a Buddhist prayer of forgiveness. If I have harmed anyone in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly, through my own confusion, I ask their forgiveness. If anyone has harmed me in any way, either knowingly or unknowingly, through their own confusion, I forgive them. And if there is a situation I am not yet ready to forgive, I forgive myself for that. For all the ways that I harm myself, negate, doubt, belittle myself, judge, or be unkind to myself through my own confusions, I forgive myself. Thank you all for being here this evening. And I invite you to practice that. And share the results with us next time. Love you all. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Miss Brenda. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Janelle.
Yes, thanks, Janelle.
Bye-bye.
Bye.